Right, so we have just shot the first scene of my competition entry video and it's all gone very, very well, the zombie in the cellar scene. So now I'm going to get ready for the next scene, which is the closet monster. Right, hi, and I am now filming a monster tutorial. Please excuse the slightly odd lighting. I've got my ring light on because it's getting a bit late in the day and it's a bit dark. But I don't yet have a setup where I can have my ring light where it's meant to be, which is in front of me. So I'm hoping that this will do the job. I think you can all see me pretty well, although it's not quite the normal quality, but I think it will just about work. So, right. So yeah, so now I'm going to turn myself into a monster. So stick my music on as usual, and I will go. Repurposing some prosthetics again today. But if you want to recreate this look, you can always buy a ready-made prosthetic off the internet. And I'm just applying this with some Pros-Aid and a damp cotton bud, just putting it into the correct place on my face and putting some translucent powder over the top just to mark where the piece will go, putting some Pros-Aid on the inside of the piece and onto my eyebrows and nose, so basically the areas of my face where the piece will make contact. And then I will just dry off the glue on both the piece and on my face so that it's tacky, and then stick the piece down onto its anchor points. Now, interesting fact about this piece, this wasn't actually sculpted for my face, which is why it doesn't fit very well. It was actually sculpted for one of the actors out of Star Wars. He was actually one of the stunt dwarves. I know it's not a very PC thing to say, but he was, it's a fact. I think he was one of the Ewoks and he was doing stunts in the film. So it was actually sculpted for him for a Harry Potter job I did up in Scotland with my old business partner Neil. So it was made for him and he was very cool. But obviously it doesn't fit my face very well because it was made for him, but it doesn't matter too much because I'll be covering it with sort of monster texture, as you'll see later. Now you can just see that I'm sticking down the edges, so using a damp cotton bud, I'm just going in with some Pros-Aid and just drying the Pros-Aid and making it tacky and then gluing it down. And now I'm just going on to do the rest of the monster face, so drawing in the monster mouth first of all, and then putting some latex around the edges of that piece just to blend it into my face a little bit more before I start building up the texture around it. Now going in with the latex around the mouth and some cotton wool, the old faithful technique, and just building up the kind of the lip of the monster mouth with that latex and cotton wool. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is probably the fiddliest makeup I've ever done in my life. You'll see why in a bit when you see me start to put the teeth in. So I'm just moulding that lip in there. Oh, and by the way, in case you just saw something flying up behind me there, I actually caught quite a lot of orbs on film here, which I'll explain a bit more about later. But anyway, so here you see me trying to put on one of the teeth, and you'll see what I mean about it being fiddly. I tried dipping them in latex and sticking them on, and they just did not want to stick whatever I did, as you can see. Gravity was determined to pull them to the ground. So yeah, you imagine I had to do this. There's probably about 20 teeth, so you can imagine how long it took. So yes, but anyway, you just need to be patient and use a lot of latex and cotton wool and just stick those teeth in there, dry in between, do whatever you can to make them stick basically. It's fiddly, but it's worth it because it does produce a very good effect, which you will see at the end. I'm using that nail tool that you saw me using in the zombie video. I'll link the zombie video in this one just so that you can go and have a look if you've not yet seen it. Then I realised that it was probably better to paint the inside of the mouth before I put all the teeth on. Luckily I'd only stuck one on when I made this realisation. So yeah, so I'm just painting the inside of the mouth with a mixture of a black and a sort of a dark reddy maroon grease paint. And just taking that first tooth out because it was somewhat getting in the way, even though it took me about 15 minutes to put it in, but never mind. Had to paint the inside of the mouth. Now I'm just putting in the rest of the teeth. I did kind of speed this up and edit bits out because it did take forever and you don't want to sit and watch me stick all the teeth in because you would get rather bored. So yeah, speed it up. And here is that orb I was telling you about. Look, flying up there out of my shoulder. I have had quite a lot of paranormal type activity in the house that I'm currently renting, so it's great to capture these things on camera. Some might say it's dust, but I don't think so. There is a separate video with the orbs in because I was getting rather distracted when I was doing this video. So yeah, if you'd like to see the orb action in a bit more detail, then you can watch that. Yeah, you might think it's dust, but I don't think it is, because dust doesn't move the way these things move. Anyway, I digress. I'm building up the monster texture here with some latex and cotton wool. Right, I'm not going to lie, this is probably the world's most fiddly makeup, so it's taken me a lot longer than it should do. But as you can see, I've not got a massive mouth, as if I didn't already have a massive mouth. No comment. It's colouring time, so I'm just colouring around the mouth first of all with a kind of a browny tone. I started off with grease paint and then realised that it didn't really go on very easily, so I then switched to a water-based colour. Same sort of colour, sort of a tanny browny colour. So I'm just painting all around that mouth area and around the teeth, just with a kind of a flat small brush. Then I went around the mouth with a kind of a reddy tone to give a kind of a look of gums, lips, what have you. And then I did a very, very thin wash of black water-based tone over the rest of the face, just to blend everything together and merge everything. I didn't want it to look too solid because I wanted it to look a bit more translucent and organic rather than just painting the face a solid black. So I'm just painting all the areas that are on show, including my neck, chest, arms, because for the video I will be coming out of the closet, so the upper half of my body will be on view. So I can't get away with just doing my face like I normally do and then taking a picture. I have had to paint other areas. And I'm just painting in the kind of the details, the crevices and whatnot, just to bring the detail in a little bit more. And then just going over it with some translucent powder, baby powder actually, in fact, because I just wanted it to look kind of dusty, like he'd just sort of come out of a closet and he'd been in there for ages. Now my hair I just put back into a low bun, back combed the front and put some dust, or rather baby powder, in there, and now I'm just putting the claws on. Now I made these claws with an oven baked clay, which I just kind of moulded into the shape of nails, moulded them over my actual fingernails to get the shape absolutely right, and then just created some texture on them with some sculpting tools and baked them, and then painted them with acrylic paints. And you just saw me there sticking them on with some Prosade. I did do another video where I stuck on some claws with some proper nail glue, and yeah, it took me forever to get them off, so I didn't want to repeat that mistake. And then, as you can see, I'm just painting the rest of my body and my hands, ready for my monster closet debut. The finishing touch is some glycerin around the teeth to give a nice monster dribble look, although this does loosen the latex, I later found out, so use with caution. Right, this is the final monster look. Looks pretty creepy, although I cannot. Why is it whenever I'm dressed as a monster I can't speak English all of a sudden? I cannot do anything with these claws, but they do look rather cool, don't you think? So yeah, this is my monster look, and I'm going to go into my housemate's closet and scare her. Rawr.